French Shalom and greetings to you all. Now we're now a few days into the second last month of the year, Av, the month of extremes. The lowest low is on the 9th of Av, the darkest day of the year. If there were ever a bad luck day, that's it. It's Friday the 13th on steroids. It marks the day of the destruction of not just one of the two ancient temples, but both of them. The expulsion of the Jews from England in 1290, the expulsion of the Jews from Spain 200 years later in 1490. And here we are almost 600 years later, and many are calling and cheering for the expulsion of the Jews from their only homeland for the past 3,000 years, and their total elimination. And very few are saying enough already. The hate is growing, and it is growing worldwide. The brink is widening. Iran continues to hate America and Israel equally, and will not rest till both are destroyed. How long will we pretend to negotiate with people who only want you dead? There are dark days all around, and they tend to be the ones remembered. Used to be Pearl Harbor, a day that will live in infamy. But infamy has now become quite crowded. Now, the 9th day of the 11th month, 9th above, mirrors that dark day in the U.S., the 11th day of the 9th month, 9/11. Both considered the darkest day of the calendar, although to many October 7th, Black Saturday, a modern day of infamy, the largest attack and murder of Jews since the Holocaust, is overtaking the 9th above in many people's minds. And here we are, with the monsters being applauded and Israel condemned. The darkness is spreading, and is spreading very quickly. Mordor is returning. Now, this was also the day the chieftains, that is the great leaders of the people, otherwise known as the spies, returned from the promised land in fear and failure, and set the bar so low for leadership, and that bar still seems pretty low. It's also the day World War I began, and many, many more. It is a sad day, and sadness, my friends, is a pall that hangs over the soul. Eyes that are the windows, eyes that are the view, eyes that tell a story, sad and deep as you, tears that are unspoken words, tears that are the truth, tears that tell a story, sad and deep as you. Yes, these are sad times, and it's followed less than a week later by the 15th of Av, the day of love, the best day of the year, the happiest day, and the best day to get married on. Now, in our non-Hebrew calendar, it's the 23rd of July for the worst day and the 29th for the happiest. What a week of extremes that becomes, and what a couple of weeks of roller coaster emotion we're all in store for. Of course, one of the things we have learned is that light brings change and elevation of spirit and soul. So even though we're in the height of summer and light, take a moment, light a candle, bring some soulful light into this dark day of the year. And with the highs and lows of the month, there's always the opportunity to do a lot of self-examination. Consider it a warm-up for the high holidays. Do you accept yourself and reality as they are? Do you take the time to be inspiring, full of hope, gently helping others arrive at truth, tackling difficult problems with serenity? It's a part of your potential. Just as being big-hearted, merciful, and forbearing, carrying others with your strength, you are all of those things. You can be courageous and strong, but also gentle and humble. That too is a potential in yourself that you can draw on. It lives within each of us. Now, in ancient times, we were blessed with a wondrous group of writings known as wisdom literature. And it flourished in the Near East, with some of the earliest writings being Egyptian writings going back to the 3rd millennium before the Common Era. So it's 3000 BC. It revolved around understanding or attaining wisdom, something we all can still strive for, and is most well known and appreciated during the biblical period for books like Ecclesiastes, the Psalms, the Book of Job, Proverbs, and others. And one of the great early biblical writers was someone named Ben Sira, who wrote about a group known as Hacham, which meant wise ones. These were the original instructors of law and ritual. And from them came masters to learn from, which is actually where the word rabbi comes from, Rav, great one, master. But by the time of later temple days, things had changed quite significantly. People are crazy. Times are strange. I'm locked in tight. I'm out of range. I used to care. But things have changed. And warnings were issued about following blindly. The teachers of the law and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. So you must be careful to do everything they tell you. But do not do what they do, for they do not practice what they preach. Everything they do is done for people to see. They make their phylacteries, which are the tefillin, wide, and the tassels of their garments long. They love the place of honor at banquets and the most important seats in the synagogues. They love to be greeted with respect in the marketplaces and to be called rabbi by others. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites. Mobs, hypocrites. Maybe things have not changed as much as we think they've changed. We have to be alert to what goes on around us. But we're also here to help each other. We all have common need and desire to come together as a group, to honor and pray individually, but while observing as a community because of this so-called herd mentality, which does probably describe most people. Let us come together. And although we're all different, there's still one thing that makes us the same, our need and desire to come together where we create and have a sense of camaraderie, a collective consciousness, seekers showing faith, any and all faith, love, any and all love, because we are, as a group, a fellowship, a true chabura, as we express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes that unites us all in this community house of spirit, Beth Ruach, sharing and bringing light, keeping fear at bay. And even though together, we're individual in our approach, each connecting in his or her or their own way. So once again, please do go ahead and invite everybody in. Some physically, the rest digitally, psychically, emotionally, or spiritually, to gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov. Come together. Hine Matov, Ubanai, Shevet Ahim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Ubanai. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. We support each other in this community, so let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is you setting aside a little bit of sacred time in your sacred space to honor and converse with whoever, whatever you happen to believe in, because we all believe in something. That's a part of your intention, your kavanah, that you put out to the universe. It is your goodwill. And goodwill and intention are the roots of what you control, of what you correct. It is your intention that sets in motion everything that occurs in your lives, my friends. Let's take some time now. Let's use that intention. Let's send some of that goodwill, some light, some healing out to whoever you know that needs it. Healing and renewal is for everybody. It just floats through space finding those in need. So send it out for those you know, for the souls and spirits of everybody you love. So think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love or just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people. It's for our pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the world. The tikkun olam. That's part of our spiritual genetic makeup. And a part of the healing of the world is when we send thoughts and energy for health and renewal and goodwill for everyone. They do not have to be sick. It's for those in our hearts and our minds. Let's all send energy out for the people in need everywhere. Special thoughts and prayers for those in need of assistance. Because we pray for those who need prayer. We don't have to know them. We want health, recovery, good life for everybody around us, for those close to us. For Kiara and Tony. For Carson. Fairy Godmother. For L1, forever part of my heart and soul through various lifetimes. And Jarrell too. For all my students. For Pal. Corey and Alan and Sherry, for Lorella, for Gabby, both overcoming health problems right now, for Pinky, Lily, sweet giggles, for the MW and Alana, and dear Snoopy, still on the road to recovery, for Roberta and dear Inura and Winston, for John and Fern, for Maria and John, for Doria and Gloria, here's our rhyming names, for Connie and Ronnie, Tally and Maya, for Nina and Linda, the twins I think of often, who are also very special, and they always hold a place in my heart and thoughts, the ever-smiling and happy Danny. For all those suffering and in need, let's not forget to include all the familiars of our lives, all of our sacred animal friends everywhere, for everyone you know in need, for the whole world, and for my sweet bee. Friends, it is the kindness, the healing wishes, and goodwill and love we all send out. It just circles the world finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit, my friends, and spirit never dies. Me, Shabbat, Avotenu, Makor HaBracha, Limotenu. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage. Make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body. The renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Misha Baruch, let us all have our spirits renewed, because this is the great prayer for healing. Because we call upon God to heal as He has healed before. Misha Baruch, may He who blessed. Because all healing's a blessing. Let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. Now the people are tired. They're looking for leadership, real leadership, kind of like now. Friends, emotionally, the wilderness is a place to be remembered with fear and trembling. A place that tried the soul of the nation. Kol hamid bar hagadol vehanara hahu, all that great and fearful wilderness. The terror of the wilderness, the one we still carry within ourselves, will be carried forward in Deuteronomy all the way to the Song of Moses, which speaks of the wilderness land, the waste of the howling desert, Tohu Yaleil Yeshimon. We have survived the journey. Now we are gathered to hear the words. This week's reading is the first of a new book, the last of the 5 books of Moses. Fascinating book. Does not really belong. Devarim, the words. We know it as Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy, it's a Greek word meaning second law, because it's a summary of much of what has already come. But it is more than a retelling of the law. It is Moses' farewell address. The man of few words at the burning bush has become a man of the words of God. This is a very different book. It was missing for several hundred years, perhaps 800. In fact, the ancient alternative Hebrew name for the book means second law, or repetition of the law, and is based upon the Hebrew phrase Mishnah HaTorah Hazot, a copy or repetition of this teaching, or law, Torah. But it's not a repetition. There are changes in many of the laws being repeated. The journey appears over. The destination is at hand. But what people often do not realize is the journey itself is the unifying element. It's never over. We are still on the journey. It functions both through time, by its chronology of events, and space by the geographical placement of events along the route of travel, to organize episodes into a cohesive story. There is a connecting line of cause and effect, so that they can be read both as individual stories and as a meaningful chain of events. The episodes of the journey we read in the book of Numbers are much more clearly related to one another than those of the Epic of Gilgamesh or even the Odyssey, which most have never read, but will now go see the new movie. It's not the same. This journey has shown us a group turned into a nation. We see methods to finding your way through growth, rebellion, reconciliation, societal development, ethical law, spiritual law, practice, the things we each undergo on our own journeys through life. Yes, my friends, it is the journey that formed this nation. And so is it any wonder one of the most important prayers is the Tefillat Haderech, the traveler's prayer, something Giggles has learned about recently. May it be your will, Lord our God, and the God of our ancestors, that you lead us towards peace. Guide our footsteps towards peace. Make us reach our desired destination for life, for gladness, and peace. May you rescue us from the hand of every foe and ambush, from robbers and wild beasts on the trip, from all manner of punishments that assemble to come to earth. May you send blessing in our handiwork. Grant us grace, kindness, and mercy in your eyes and in the eyes of all who see us. May you hear the sound of our humble request, because you are God who hears prayer requests. Blessed are you, Lord, who hears prayer. May we all be led to peace. May we all reach our desired destination for life. Now, the book of Deuteronomy, the book of words, pictures the last events of Israel's 40 years in the wilderness and the last events of Moses' life. It ends with Moses' death, which is the climax not found in Numbers. The people are at the end of a journey. They are located on the Jordan River at the border of their promised land in the plains of Moab. They are about to enter a new land and a settled life, and their leader is about to die. The acts of God, of Moses, and of the people are transferred to the background because this book belongs to Moses' words, and purely his words. Words are flowing out like endless rain into a paper cup. They slither. While they pass, they slip away across the universe. Pools of sorrow, waves of joy, drifting through my open mind, possessing and caressing me. Words are the most important thing we have. They create worlds. They move mountains. Deuteronomy 1:1. These are the words that Moses spoke to all the Israelites across the Jordan in the wilderness, 11 days from Horeb by way of Mount Seir, and it was in the 40th year. How's that? The journey from Horeb, Mount Sinai, to the Promised Land only needed to take 11 days, but it's taken 40 years. And as the people stand at the entrance to the land after those 40 years, after everyone with adult memory of slavery has died, the meaning of the loss of 40 years can be deeply felt, appreciated, regretted. How many stood on the threshold of entering Israel on its recognition in 1948 after the Holocaust, thinking the same? Deuteronomy 1:3. It was in the 40th year, in the 11th month. On the first of the month, Moses spoke to the children of Israel of everything that the Lord commanded him to them. And Moses repeats history for them, but tells them it was them, when really it was their parents. This becomes a tool he uses frequently during his address, as he keeps saying, "Don't you remember?" What a juxtaposition. How do we interpret this? The irony, the waste, the necessity, the experience, the growth, the suffering, the need for a new generation who had not known slavery, the inability of humans to outgrow a trauma of mammoth proportion to an entire nation. And Moses reminds them of laws and of the great epiphany, but he does it in an extraordinary way. He says, "And I said to you at that time, Ba'et Hachi." But none of these people were alive at that time. We know that all the people standing before Moses now would have been under the age of 20, or even unborn at the time of the events recalled in his speech. Yet Moses repeatedly speaks as though they were all direct participants in or observers of the episodes he mentions. As Moses speaks, the people is imagined as a continuous entity. Not with our fathers did the Lord seal this covenant, but with us, we that are here, all of us alive. In a sentence, he mixes past, present, future generations together. So in the end, it becomes the message for each generation who reads this text, including ours. As he recounts history, Moses creates an equivalence between the solemn convocation and the defining experience at Sinai, repeatedly referred to as Yom HaKahal, the day of assembly, so that the latter-day Israelites listening to this book of teaching, Sefer HaTorah Hazeh, will feel that they themselves are reenacting that event. It is a very powerful method. This gave rise to the Midrashic notion that all future generations of Israel were already present as witnesses. They were all there. All the people were standing there, captured by the words of Moses. Now, in the last book of the Torah, Moses does more than give law. He gives history. He gives law. He gives great wisdom. And it's all wrapped together in places, especially near its end. It's beautiful and inspired. This is a true book of words. Now, words, they were means of creation, and they were the means of the great epiphany. In the beginning was the Word, and that Word went from God to us. Where are your words going? And what are you doing with them? When we met Moses and saw his interaction with God at the burning bush, he was different. There he tries to escape the assignment to go to speak to Pharaoh by saying, I'm not a man of words, and now he is the man of words. It is a remarkable, ironic, and inspiring journey to see Moses' development through all that has happened in 40 years as he has turned into a man of words. More than any other human in the Bible, Moses grows and changes in the course of his life. Just like you. You can change careers, change values and beliefs, change lifestyle, change character, change eating habits. Any one of us can grow and become stronger and better. And you're going to see another change occur. Instead of law without reason, as throughout the Torah, law is just given with no reason whatsoever, the Torah concludes with the message that the law is meant to be relevant, comprehensible, and meaningful in the people's lives. It has to have all three of those things. It is appropriate to seek out the meanings of the laws, and when interpreting the law, to understand that it is explicitly meant to enhance lives. One must not apply it in a way that causes injury or undermines its positive function in life. Now, for the whole of the last of the 5 books of Moses, it's a picture of a group of people listening to the speech of a man. No seas split, no angels appear. There are, in fact, no miracles at all in Deuteronomy. This book is about the importance of words. Creation came from words of God calling things into being. Everything in our lives is triggered and impacted by words. Those we speak, those we hear, those we think. Yes, my friends, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express yourself. Express your gratitude. Light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom, be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace, freedom for everyone, an end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we're a community. We learn together, we celebrate with each other, we love each other. We share this right together, men and women equally, so let's send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. Please do. Learn to forgive. Learn to love. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe, because we set in motion all that happens in our lives. It is our intention, our cabinet, our cause, our effect. Everything is linked. You always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what's good and bad, so acknowledge what you've done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you've wronged, and ask forgiveness. But do so with sincerity, accountability, vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you, as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people, in the world just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? Because if you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So keep on dreaming, my friends. Keep on being, keep shining, keep sharing, keep teaching, keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear, follow love. It's always in front of you. Work to be present in the body. Expand your heart and quiet your mind, because the deepest source of real power lies in consciousness, in your ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. Love with the heart. We're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear, forgiveness, not anger. Be there for someone, because someone is always there for you, whether you know it or not. Continue to explore faith and belief. And never accept shame as a natural state, because whatever you feel, others have felt. Whatever you've experienced, others have too. And we share together. We learn together, and we help each other, because we are each of us trying to find love and acceptance and support. We all could have that special someone in our lives, so find them and tell them what they need. You are never alone on your journey. Keep forgiving those you need to forgive, and keep asking forgiveness from those you need to ask forgiveness of. And listen to the voice of God as he talks to you. And God's talking to you all the time. And remember, your connection to God and all that's created, in body and soul and spirit, it's a part of you, it's a part of me, it's a part of all of us, and will be forever. And remember, next week will be the festival of love. And without a doubt, love is the greatest power of all. If you hear the song I sing, you will understand. You hold the key to love and fear, all in your trembling hand. Just one key unlocks them both. It's there at your command. Come on, people now. Smile on your brother. Everybody get together. Try to love one another right now. Say I love you. It is the greatest power of all. The power of love overcomes everything. Thank you for joining me. Keep sharing the light. Practice forgiveness. Be thankful. Be gracious. Be kind. Be loving. Believe in yourself and spread a little goodwill to the world. Continue to be the miracle in someone else's life and be an example of all that you can be. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Thank you.